Top musicians and cool things and stuff. It's the Holly and Josh Show. Welcome to the Holly and Josh Show, but it's just little old Josh today. It's the Lonely Ole Josh Show today, as Harley is working, I believe, for an auction company, again, doing all his audio-visual masterful wizardry. So I'm stuck here by myself, but I'm on Facebook Live, so if you want to keep me company, say hello, and you can ask me questions and stuff. For those of you guys that might not have listened to the show before, I'm Josh Locke. I am a full-time self-employed musician, so I have zero money, I'd just like to come up and talk to you guys about what it's like being a musician and what I've been doing for the past sort of week. If you like the podcast, please check it out on Harley and Josh Show Facebook page. We've got a YouTube channel. We're on iTunes, we're on Podbean, or all of these different podcasting services, so you can listen again. But today I'm going to be playing you some music from Goofa Dust. We've got the Ashton Jones Project. We've got Polly Preacher, Spidervayne, Sam Eagle, and some more if I feel like chucking some more in there. Some really wonderful self-published artists there, and just really great songwriters. So if you've got some suggestions of songs, chuck yourself over to the Facebook Live, and you can let me know what you'd like to hear. But most of the time we like to play unsigned artists that are just doing amazing stuff. So yeah, keep that in mind. Anybody that requests Freebird, I will punch you in the face. What's that?
You're a noisy boy.
I'm a noisy boy. I'm always a noisy boy. Thank you very much. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about the most Shazammed track record has been beaten. So if you stick around for the music news, I'll be able to let you know what that will be. So that'll be in the second half of the show, as well as music piracy seems to be on the decline. So how that happens, we'll have to see. But yeah, so until that point, I think I'd like to play you guys some music. I would like to play Polly Preacher first, but I'm really chilly, so shut the door. Polly Preacher, she has released a new track recently, which is a cover of a Cranberries track, and it's amazing. It's called When You Go, and she has released it, and all the proceeds for the song are going to charity. It's the Colchester Food Bank, and she has raised thousands so far, so please make sure you keep donating. She's doing a really good job, and yeah, props to you, Polly, you're wonderful. So this one is called When You're Gone. Check it out, guys. Awesome. That is When You're Gone by Polly Preacher. That is available on all the Spotifys and stuff like that, but I would recommend you go over to her Facebook page and check out her link tree. She has a donate button on there, so you can get a donate with the downloads. And yeah, you can put towards the Colchester Food Bank, which is a wonderful cause, helping people just to not starve. That's always a great thing. That should be a basic human right, I think, where we don't feel like we have to really stretch our budget so that we can actually stay alive. So yeah, having fun on the old Facebook Live, isn't we? Oh, asking me questions and making me dance. What's become of my life? So anyway, last week, what I usually got to do, Harley has this section, so I'm going to use his jingle for me. What'd you do? I did. Oh, hello! I'm Harley, and I did some things, and what those things were, I don't know because he's not here to tell me about it. So I'm going to be Harley instead. Just a little bit taller. Last week was quite a nice little busy, eventful one. As it was back to school, so back to teaching again. Back in Moorland primary school. It was really nice to be back and seeing how the kids did after 2 weeks off of school, asking about what they got up to. I mean, they're all Key Stage 2 kids, and so it's mostly just we went camping and we did some stuff, and I'm like, did you practice? No, I played Fortnite. Why? But some of them did practice and they've come back even better. Some of them even, which really impressed me, have been transcribing stuff. There was one of the kids, Cody. He had a track. I can't remember what the song it was, but he was just like, I really like this song, so I listened to it and I worked out the melody line on the guitar, and he showed me it, and it was just great. It was just those sort of like first step moments of just like the first time you ever listen to a song and then you transcribe it onto a guitar or even write it down. I don't think he wrote it down, but it's just the fact that he remembered it and has now put notes to it is really impressive. So I'm super proud of the kid. We're there before the Easter holidays. We had a performance for all the parents to show them what all these kids were learning when we were there, which is just, I was so proud. Oh my god, there was a tear in my eye, because I think we had about 40 to 50 kids up on stage playing guitar, recorder, xylophone, singing. I mean, all at once. And it started out when we first started rehearsing as a cacophony. Then it turned into something that I was, they did such a good job. So I think we're going to be getting them to do that in front of the school this week. So this Wednesday, we're going to get them playing it in front of their friends and stuff. So that's going to be fun to. They've literally just decided that and told me this. So I've got to now teach my kids not only guitar but also the virtues of being ready to just do a performance at the click of a finger, at the drop of a hat. Somebody's just like, by the way, I need you to perform. Most of the time people are going to be like booking gigs a month or two in advance and stuff, and they'll be like, cool, I've got some time to rev myself up. But when somebody says, right, you got a gig tomorrow, it's quite a difficult lesson to have to learn, that you're just like, right, well, I've just got to get on with it, right? It's just like any other job, like any other hobby. It's just off you go. So hopefully I won't be having any children having a breakdown, but I always like to make sure that they feel that they're up on stage by their own choice, and you can never, I don't know, you should never really force somebody to go up on stage, really, should you? I mean, it can be such a nerve-wracking and anxiety-ridden experience that if somebody that's not only a novice but is also 8 years old, you can't tell them you have to go up on stage. So it's going to be nice to see people overcome their demons and just be like, right, okay, yeah, I'll get up there and do it. Because I think that's also a thing, a benefit of being a primary school kid, is that I didn't have as much nerves back then. I don't have any nerves anymore, really, for performing. There's nerves for other things, but I don't think you understand what anxiety is when you're tiny, not as as defined as you may think it is. So I'm really looking forward to them getting up there and kicking butt, in front of all their friends, and then having something to brag about. So yeah, that was my Monday and Wednesday, or most of my Monday and Wednesday, because on the Wednesday, as soon as I finished my teaching at Moorland, I had to rocket off to the other side of the country. The other side of the country. It was a 4-hour drive, lovely up the A14, for some music-related jobs, which I think I'm going to talk to you about after I've played you another song, because this is just, we've got more time for some music this week. And I've been driving around with this little ditty stuck in my head. This one's called Ode to Jack McBrayer by Sam Eagle. He's got a new EP out. I've just bought it from Out of Time Records. They've just had a delivery of it, so if you're looking for some new music, it is wonderful. Recorded at the Boathouse, I believe. This is Sam Eagle. Check it out. That was Ode to Jack McBrayer by Sam Eagle. Genius songwriter, I think. I think he's going to go some places. Yes, I mean, if you can get that album, that's available on Out of Time Records and on iTunes, etc. I've been having lots of nice questions from the Facebook Live. If you want to ask me some questions, please get over there. Alex Burlinson asks me if I could have any... Well, he's a good old friend of mine. I miss Alex. I haven't seen you in ages, mate. If I could have a signature guitar, what company would I have it made by? And man, I do not know what. It'd have to be something really versatile, but something that was still kind of vintage looking. I absolutely love Strats, because you get that sort of you can get so many different types of tone out of it just from 3 pickups. It's wonderful. So I don't know. If I could get like. Well, Gretsch and Fender are the same company. I think they're owned by CBS, aren't they? So it'd be a Fender Gretsch, a Gretschster, yeah, something like that. Something that was maybe like a hollow body Strat. I think that might be quite fit with like maybe a Floyd Rose, so that I wouldn't have to worry about the tuning all the time. Anyway, so last week was a nice little culmination of a lot of work I've been doing with a very old friend of mine. Who is a composer. I can't release his name right now because I'm not even really supposed to be talking about this. But I travelled all the way over to Kidderminster, just below Birmingham, last week, just after I'd finished my teaching, to do 2 days worth of sessions. So I was recording guitar for I'm just going to say it's an instrumental ting that is... it's all kind of like 90s power metal. So if you think of Power Rangers, right? Power Rangers, the Spider-Man animated series, like theme tune, right? You've got the X-Men theme tune, so like all of the like basically going back to all of this kind of shredding that I used to do when I was in my teens. It was just absolutely like amazing to get back into doing that. Because it was all the stuff that I used to sit there, I'd be practicing for so long of just how to sweep, how to do sort of groups of 5, groups of 3, groups of 4, sort of rises up scales and being able to alternate pick the whole thing or economy pick the whole thing or just to improvise something that was, interesting and pleasing, but also quite, technically, technically good. But I got kind of a little bit disenfranchised with that after a while. Sometimes when you're just trying to play the fastest you can and sometimes play the most impressive you can, you forget to write a good song or a good melody, serve the song, if that makes sense. Rich Webb knows all about that. He's got a podcast called Serve the Song for that reason. You've got to put something into a song that is worth taking some time out from the melody. If you're going to put a guitar solo in there, sometimes you've got to think, okay, is it worth it? And if I'm going to do a guitar solo here, it should be tasteful. It should be, if you're going to do a song that's just like, oh, my love, I love you so, like there's some really soulful, and then suddenly just going, a million notes every 5 seconds. It's just a bit... It doesn't make sense to the song, to the genre, and to the mood and the feel and the vibe of the piece. So anyway, so I went away from that. But then when this friend came to me and who knew me from those days of me shredding all the time in Stratosphere and all those my bands from back then, it was this thing of, right, okay, I'm getting back on the horse. I'm cracking out the old Ibanez, cracking out my old Floyd Rose again. I'm going to start... getting back on my shredding. So that's been quite a few months of doing that, almost a year of just getting back on that. And last week I got to record with Matt O'Grady. Okay, so I don't think it's too much for me to say this, but Matt O'Grady has got gold discs all over his walls. Very, very highly regarded producer, mixer and mastering engineer. He has recorded such bands as You Me at 6, well, pretty much all of You Me at 6's stuff, Bring Me the Horizon, Architects, Don Broco, Def Havana, War, Wars, sorry. It's just all these bands that I used to listen to when I was about sort of 18, 19, and being in this room where a lot of these people have recorded, and seeing their gold discs on the walls, seeing the same gear that these people recorded on, and I'm sort of going into the desk through this PV5150 head, going through a 2x12 Marshall amplifier, gain on full. Actually, no, it was on 9. I was like, can we go to 10? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah, it was 12 hours a day of shredding. And my fingers are so solid right now. I feel like, like a full-time bass player. It's ridiculous. It's just, 12 hours over 2 days is going ridiculous. So yeah, I was quite sore by the end of it. There's a thing with being a session musician which is very important. So during the time when I was recording, there were often times where they would be like, that's really bad, do it again. That's really bad, do it again. That's really bad, do it again. And you realize if you do want to be a session musician, anybody listening in who is any kind of instrumentalist, you want to be a session musician, you can't be too precious about your playing, because you'll end up with just feeling beaten down. They would be saying great things about my playing, but more often than not, it would be them saying, you need to sit down and practice that for a bit, and then we'll do it again. And I had to sort of say to myself before I went to the session, I was like, you got to chill. You have to realize that this is not your recording. These aren't your songs. You didn't compose this. You are literally here to do the job. So I had to sort of, keep a cool head on my shoulders. And, when you're in a high intensity situation where, somebody really needs the stuff to be done because you're on a time limit and it's an expensive studio, you do have to just make sure that if somebody tells you to do something, you're like, okay, I'm on it. I'll do it. If you don't agree with what they say, you can say it, but in the end, it's their call. It's like, well, I hear your opinion that your technique would feel better doing this, but it's my track, so do the job that you're getting paid to do. That's because I was getting paid for doing this. So there's just a little bit of advice. Leave your ego at the door if you're a session musician, because you're not there to give an opinion half the time. Most of the time, unless you're asked, you're just supposed to shut up and play. So yeah, anyway, something for you to think about. Yeah. So 2 days worth of that, and coming back was quite strange. I got to share the car back with the composer, which was really nice because we got to have in-depth. It was like a podcast. We get to talk about the industry he works in, and what it's like to earn money from composition, and what projects he's got coming up. And this guy's been he's been nominated for some very amazing awards. I can't say them just in case people will sit there and go, oh, you're talking about that guy, so that means you're on this project. But yeah, he's a very, very talented musician and a professional music industry member. So it was really interesting just to get his 2 cents on some of the ideas that I've been having and stuff that we talk about every week. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly just check if I've missed out some of the crazy stuff that's going on Facebook Live right now with Jamie and Elliot trying to get me dance constantly. Also, don't floss now. I don't understand you, Elliot. I don't understand. He wanted me to floss earlier and then tells me don't floss. I mean, I don't know where we are anymore. David Langdon's joined. Ooh. Friends, thanks for coming back, mate. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please check them up on the old Facebook Live. If you've got any requests, please do check them up on the old Facebook Live. All of this stuff, we want to keep it nice and interactive, as I'm on my own and I'm sad today. So yeah, after that, I'll get onto what I got into after that. So all right, I'm going to play you some more music because there's such amazing stuff going on recently that I can't fit it all into one playlist. But this next song, a group of amazingly talented musicians, headed by one dynamo of a man, Mr. Ashton Jones. Now, Ashton Jones and I have gigged together on the same stages a couple times, and he's just a ridiculous performer. So much energy. He's tall, or if not taller than me, which is great because I don't feel like he's looking up my nose and seeing my boogers, But he's his voice, the range he has is crazy. And finally, after teasing it for years, He and RJ have written his drummer, have written some fantastic tracks that they've now released as an EP. The Ashton Jones Project has now got an EP, and if you haven't heard it, that's all right. I've got your back. I got it right here on IO Radio. This is Good Thing Guaranteed by the Ashton Jones Project. Check it out.
Oh, we got a good thing. That's a fact. Baby, that's a fact. I don't want to hear you talking smack.
Toit! That was the Ashton Jones Project with Good Thing Guaranteed. Some of you guys may know Ashton from the new Amazon global advertising campaign, which has got him singing. I think it's signed, sealed, delivered. And it's so great because, he's got a very recognizable voice, and seeing, hearing it all over this, all over the TV, all over YouTube, is really, really great. Because you can feel like a bit of a part of it, when you've been going out to his shows, you've been, now buying his EP, which you can do now on iTunes and Spotify and stuff like this. Buy it, pay him money. Oh yes, it's so good. Seriously, you got to check this album out. The prelude itself was just really lovely. It's got this sort of soulful keyboard intro with, I believe it's Andy Brush playing saxophone over the top of it. It's got this real nice New York jazz vibe to it, which is just, gives it this smoothness, which, not sure if it gets you ready enough for Good Thing Guaranteed, because that is funky, but, at least you get something smooth coming out of it. So anyway, I think before we go anywhere else, I'm going to do a little bit of the old news. We have the number of women on the charts, has remained stagnant. All-time Shazam records smashed by Florence and the Machine, as well as the Global Piracy Report for 2017 says it's going down. Which one am I going to start off on first? I think I'm going to start off with the piracy thing. I'm reading off my notes, so, if you're looking at me, if you're watching via Facebook Live, it's going to be quite, fun to just watch me reading off my phone. So, in its Global Piracy Report for 2017, this is 2017, right? Muso, a British piracy tracking startup, tracked around 300 billion, that's billion with a B, visits to piracy sites. I mean, that's mad, right? This number jumped 1.6% year on year. In the UK alone, streaming music piracy increased by 21%. That's crazy, right? So from the year before, so from 2016, it got worse. However, then, last September, Muso published a surprising update. So thank you, Muso. Thanks to the rise of streaming platforms, people now pirate less. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because it's slightly easier to get hold of stuff rather than have to cycle through millions of sites that have pop-up ads all over the place. Yet, while fewer people head to piracy sites, including the Pirate Bay, they frequently head to web-based music download sites instead. So what those would be, I don't know. I'm very out of touch with the old criminal underbelly. And while fewer people use torrenting websites, more people love downloading music videos from YouTube via stream ripping sites. So that has been quite a big problem. I've been notified on my channel, my YouTube channel, when people have done that. So they are cracking down on that. It's just strange that's now the new thing. The quality is real bad from doing that. Then just last month, the piracy tracking startup published another astounding fact. Astounding. Streaming music platforms may have actually curbed YouTube stream ripping, which is great. I mean, so again, it's just ease of use. I think that's one of the reasons why piracy has just soared, is that in the past, that people just got fed up of going to shops, I suppose. I don't know. Get out of your house. But now that music has started coming more directly to us, I think maybe it's just made people a little bit more ready to part with some cash. So anyway, music Muso, found that music piracy had experienced a serious decline, 34% year over year since 2017. That's pretty mad. Breaking down music piracy. Now, this I found really, really interesting. I got these stats from Music Business Worldwide. Great website to find your music news. So, breaking down music piracy. Public torrent Public torrent networks, once a favoured I don't know where I am today. Crikey. Piracy delivery method now accounts for just 13% of all infringing activity. So, it used to be the majority, now it's just 13%. Stream ripping also fell 13% between 2017 and 2018, from 8.9 billion visits to sort of YouTube to mp3.com to 7.7 billion. So that is from 8 down to 8.9 to 7.7 doesn't sound that good when you're thinking about it in terms of just single numbers, but that is with a billion with a B. Billion with a B. So this is primarily due to YouTube to mp3.org's closure in 2017. So, that's definitely got something to do with it. It's not just streaming that's getting all of this, leading to a 16% drop in overall stream ripper visits. So there we go. I mean, I personally have pirated music in the past, but as soon as I started making music my main income, which would have been about at least 6 years, I think now. I just, it's just one of those things. You can't be a hypocrite when it comes to this. If you're a musician and you pirate stuff, you're being a hypocrite. Sorry to be the guy to bear the bad news, but if you're expecting yourself to get paid or people, appreciate your work, but then you won't appreciate other people's, I mean, you can't, if you can't see the contradiction there as well, you've also got a problem there. So yeah, I think that's a really interesting little thing. 34% down on piracy. Do you guys see that happening? Can you relate to those figures, or do you think that they don't sound quite on? Anyway, so let's also talk about the all-time Shazam record smashed by Florence and the Machines. So this probably won't be too much of a surprise to many people. Game of Thrones was the reason for it. Game of Thrones. Of course it's Game of Thrones is the reason for it. Florence and the Machine performance of Jenny of Old Stones appeared over the end credits in the latest episode of HBO's Game of Thrones, which aired last Sunday, 21st of April. So no, not this week's one. Don't tell me about it. I haven't watched it. No spoilers. Get out. There was already that was sung by one of the characters during the show, and then they repeated it later on. They've done that in previous episode, which I like. They've carried that on. Shazam has confirmed to Music Business Worldwide, the website I got this on. Check it out, it's good. That Welch's track, Florence Welch, was Shazammed approximately 300,000 times worldwide. 300,000 times. I mean, if you think about it, I think its gold records now are 100,000 sales. I'm not sure if that counts with singles or if it's just albums, but so 300,000 is quite huge. During a 24-hour period following its appearance on the show, so in 24 hours, 300,000 Shazams. That's a pretty big deal. That was enough to beat the previous all-time record set by none other than Adele. And that was Hello in October 2015. That was 200,000 Shazams in its opening 24 hours, which again is super impressive. I mean, trying to get that, out of a marketing campaign, it's like blood out of a stone. You don't know if a song's going to catch people's ears enough for them to go, I need to know what this is. So yeah, that's obviously a success. But I mean, if you think about it, that just appeared on a TV show. So Florence and the Machine appeared on the TV show. Adele, it was a radio single, available on YouTube and Facebook and all these different social media platforms as well. But it was just a release, right? It wasn't a TV sync, so it didn't have as much of a captive audience as Game of Thrones does. So they had a bit of a doozy on top of them. But I mean, it is absolutely crazy. So TV sync. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is just the fact of TV sync contracts can be a little bit overlooked. But if you really think about it, if you keep writing library music as a songwriter or composer, or if you're a session musician, sometimes it can work in your favor as well, and get yourself up with some kind of TV show. It doesn't have to be as big as Game of Thrones, but it is a very good income if you think about it. And, 300,000 in 24-hour period, and that's Game of Thrones, so it's a huge viewer figures anyway. But even if it's just on friends' YouTube channels, things like this, where it might end up getting lots of views. You never know. It's just a really great way to get yourself in the mindset of just writing a bunch and getting it out there onto in the background of something that people might be watching, because it's just a new sort of pathway for your music to get to people's ears. I mean, you've got to exploit as many as you can. So anyway, that was a really interesting thing that I think it's going to change the way that I look at producing music, trying to think about it in terms of what it's going to work alongside. So all right, I'm going to take a break from talking about myself. I'm going to talk about what people are calling me over Facebook Live, because it seems Jamie Chapman thinks I'm a tool. So I mean, ow. So what kind of tool? I mean, like a useful tool? I mean, I've not really heard of a non-useful tool, so I guess that means I'm great at this. I guess that makes sense. Thanks. I mean, there we go. Thanks for submitting, by the way, Elliot. I mean, that's all you can do when you've got the powerhouse of the Harley and Josh show. Both of us. I'm working with Harley at the moment. He's up here, battling it out for who does the best dance moves. I mean, you can't get anywhere. So, all right, I think I should shut up and play some more music before we get to the thing I thought about this morning. I had said thong accidentally there. And also when we get to the gig list. So I really need to play this track. I haven't listened to it in a little while. This is Living in the Past by Spidervayne. They're playing this weekend. Stick around for the gig list to find out. My favourite track by Spidervayne, amazing band that are playing this weekend. Stick around for the gig list to find out, because my God, they're so good. They're really good live as well. I've caught them live, and man, I was impressed. An immediate fan, and I think you would be too. So, right, I would like to carry on the show with, usually that it's a conversation with somebody else, but this is just going to be me talking to myself and to you people.
Thing I found report about this morning.
Jingle. One thing I was just saying to the guys on the Facebook Live that I was hoping that Angel was going to be coming along to join me today, but unfortunately she is a super busy lady. So what I wanted to talk to her about was what it's like being a woman in the music industry. And now I can't, I don't have much of an experience in this at all. So I just wanted to quickly bring up some facts and figures that I think you guys might find interesting. So the number of women on the charts, that I think this is last year, this is a study from February, remained stagnant at 17%. Female songwriters made up just 12.3% of their field in a test group of 100 songs. This is like the top 100 Billboard top 100 of the whole year, so it's not that representative of everything, but it's still 12% is not big enough at all. In a test group of 100 songs, while just 2.1% of the tracks had female producers, as per the previous year. So there's problems behind the scenes, as well as the people that are writing the music, as well as people that are performing it. Out of the 1,064 people who were nominated for Grammys in the 5 main categories between 2013 and 2019, so that's 6 years, 89.6% were male and 10.4% were female. So 10% of people nominated in 6 years were female. So there is a systemic problem there. Music industry poll says 43% reported, 43% of women working within the music industry that were polled reported feeling their skills were discounted. 39% said they had experienced stereotyping and sexualization. So that's not something to be ignored. Of the small group of female artists who made it onto the charts last year, a record 73% of them came from underrepresented racial and ethnic groups. Interesting. So I don't know what to do with those figures, but I think listening to those figures, make up your own opinion. What do you think that we need to do to make the music industry more inclusive for women? If you've got any ideas, please let us know. I really hope that something that I can do can help that. But, also you got to vote with your wallet. If you can find somebody that is a wonderful songwriter, producer, or performer who is also female, support their work, and maybe that will start being reflected later on down the line. So anyway, I would like to get to the gig list. Here we go. I did actually make a jingle for this. It's time to show you what's going on this week. I have a very busy week. I am performing 3 times, one with Hoppy and the Hopefuls, hello Andy, one with Goofa Dust, and one with the Lockabillys. So yeah, I'll tell you about where that's going to be. This Thursday, the Soapbox Open Mic is going to be at the Three Wise Monkeys in Ipswich. I think I might head down to that one. That's for people that aren't only musicians, there'll be performance artists as well as poets. That'll be really interesting. It's part of the Get on the Soapbox stuff. From Amy Ragg from all the Folk East gang, so there'll be some really talented people there. Hoppy and the Hopefuls, we are playing at the Claydon Greyhound this Friday, the 3rd of May. Check us out if you like your funk and soul, and just you like your blues and you like to boogie and get down. This Friday, also at the Smokehouse, is an evening with Robin Hitchcock and Polly Preacher, who I played you earlier, who is wonderful. If you can check her out. I'm afraid you won't be able to go to this show though. I've just told you about it, but it's sold out. So awkward. Sorry. Nebula Sun are playing live at the Three Wise Monkeys Ipswich. That's this Saturday at 10 o'clock. They're a really interesting band. They're like sort of Afro jazz. So very danceable stuff, very percussive. They're from Norwich. If you want to dance, get down there on Saturday at 10 o'clock. JAR, Hunt for Titans, Memory Box, and Lawrence Crowe with his imaginary band. That is at the Smokehouse this Saturday at 8 o'clock. They're all very interesting musicians, very good to watch. I like those bands. And Hunt for Titans, Chewy, old friend of mine who used to play in Blacktop Harrison. They're an awesome band, and he always put on a great show, so that'll be one fun to watch. The Berry Fringe Festival, Angel's going to be playing that one. It's the All Dayer 2019 at the Hunter Club. That's this Saturday at 1 o'clock. There's a lot of great musicians on that. I haven't got them written down here, but yeah, it's the ones to watch for this year, so check them out. Saturday, the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. We have the Briarbank Brewing Company are playing wait a second, where's it gone? Oh yeah, that's it. So it's the Beer and Blues thing with the Briarbank Brewing Company. It's just behind Isaac's on the one-way system. That's Saturday. I haven't got a time here, but it's Homebrew. Homebrew are a wonderful band. They've got this sort of Delta blues mixed in with some acoustic bluesy stuff. Mark Stewart, the guitarist, is my first ever guitar teacher. Big influence on my playing. So if you really want to check out some good homegrown blues, check out the Briarbank Brewing Company this Saturday. So the Brewers Arms though. So I was getting too many brewings. Brewers Arms this Saturday, 4th of May. They've got a Star Wars metal night with Killer Corp and Spidervayne. So you can start, practicing your head banging so you can get a neck like mine, mate. That's all you need. So I don't know how Star Wars themed it's going to be. I'm not sure if there's going to be Star Wars songs. I'd really like to hear Spidervayne doing the Imperial March. That would be sick, right? Anyway, so Cosmic Puffin is this weekend. Yes, I am so looking forward to it. I'm playing twice at Cosmic Puffin on Sunday. One with Goofa Dust, who I'm going to play you out with, and one with the Lockabillys. And we've been wanting to play that for quite a while now. Massive hippie fest on Mersey Island in Essex. There's some wonderful bands playing. Pet Needs are playing. Ghosts of Men are playing. Polly Haynes are playing. That's just ridiculous. You've got to get down and check that out. And I'm going to be having actually one guest. Sorry. Harley is going to be playing bass for me on that one, as Murray and Rich are away with the Ben Goebel Trio in Hamburg. I want to say Hamburg. It's in Germany, I'm pretty certain. They are going to be playing over there, so they can't play with the Lockabillys. So I've got myself Rainer Van Dale and Harley Cotton playing bass. So yeah, that's going to be loads of fun. Cosmic Puffin this weekend. Get your tickets. Get your tickets. It's going to be awesome. That's at the East Mersey Youth Camp, by the way, just so you know. This Sunday, also Ipswich May Day Festival. A huge roster of acts on that. I believe Angel's going to be doing some stuff. I couldn't find a list of the bands playing, so if I've missed out your band, please make sure that you let me know. Hi Dan. Oh, miss you, mate. Oh, I gotta eat. Yes, they are. It's an amazing festival every year. It's always just, a really great vibe. Lots of people getting their views out there, as it's a politically motivated thing run by the Labour Party. So there'll be Trades and Labour Group anyway. So you'll be able to, get some perspectives from other people, other speakers around. So that's I believe it's all free as well. So that's pretty amazing. That is going to be at the Alexandra Park this Sunday, all day. So get yourself down there. And I believe Stetson's a call doing an after party at the Railway on Vauxhall Road. So there's so much going on. If you don't go and see any live music this week, I mean, you're missing out on something pretty special. You know what I mean? So yeah, let me just quickly check to see if anybody said anything nice to us on the old thing. Super Zeros, yes, of course, mate. All right, sorry. So Elliot has very kindly given me a gig to plug. Where is it? I've got to find the old thing. Oh yeah, Super Zeros. They're playing in Bucklesham this Friday. Pop punk. If you like your pop punk, as in Bucklesham, the Super Zeros will kick your buttocks. Yes, I have heard some wonderful things. So check him out. Elliot Stubbings, he's been buoying me off, like, this whole stream. So I mean, if he's as good as buoying me off as he is on stage, I mean, it's going to be a no-brainer, right? So yeah, Jamie, you would be Woo Rainer, wouldn't you? What about Woo Josh? No Woo Josh. Great. So yeah, anyway, I would like to play you a song that hasn't been played to anybody yet. Well, actually, apart from that, I'm lying. Stephen Foster did play this on BBC Music, as the Goofa Dust album that we are releasing now was featured as the album of the week, which he played a song every week and every night of the week, and we were just super blessed to have that. This one was written before I joined the band, but I feel like I added my own flavour to it. If you want to know who's playing guitar on this one, it's who's playing which guitar on this one. I'm coming out of the left speaker, Craig's coming out of the right speaker, so there's a little way of understanding. This track is called Wake and Bake. Infer from that what you will. I've been Josh Locke. Thank you very much for listening. Please, if you do like the show, please like us on Facebook. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Please share it about. If you've got some music you'd like us to play, send it in. If you'd like us, you've got some shows you'd like to promote, give us some love, like Elliot's doing on the Facebook. Thank you, mate. And most of all, call Harley and tell him to, be here next time, because I miss him. This is Wake and Bake by Goofa Dust. We'll see you next week, y'all. Love ya.
Shake and shiver, flowing like that river, that dirty water. I don't need it no more. I've been out all night, I've been prowling like a cat.